Okay, so now you're watching part two. If you didn't watch part one of Enjoyment of Life, make sure you go back and watch part one and then come back and watch part two. So in part one, I went through a little bit in the book of Ecclesiastes, and that entire section was all about, are you actually doing the work that you love doing? Because Solomon reminds us that naked we come from our mother's womb, naked we return, right? And he talks about how it is considered as a gift from God to be able to enjoy our lot in life and enjoy the work that we do. So you can go back and watch that one when you get time. Now, this is part two. So this is called Enjoyment of Life, and the subtitle to this is Letting Go of the Past. It's very difficult to, at least for me, I should say, to have enjoyment of life while I'm still holding on to what's in the past. So I want you all to turn to Isaiah chapter 43. And I actually read this morning. Right after I read Ecclesiastes, I turned to Isaiah. So it's ironic that both of these go with what I want to talk about today. So in Isaiah chapter 43, one of my favorite passages in the Bible, and I love this passage a lot because it reminds us that we've been summoned, summoned by God. And when we pass through the waters and the rivers, it's not going to wash over us and all that good stuff. But then I love in verse 18 where we're taught, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. And he goes on to say, because I provide water in the desert and streams in the wasteland. And then he goes on to talk about how he gives, drink to his people and the people he's chosen for himself and so on. I love, love, love this passage because it's reminding me, forget the former things. Remember, one of my favorite passages, Romans 12:2, that I've talked about quite a bit about, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? We have to literally let go and forget all of the former things of the past, the things that don't work out well, the things that didn't work out well, I should say. We have to literally let those things go. And I love that we're taught to see, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I want to just park on that one for just a moment. I said in part one of this two-part series that in the morning I have a meeting with my team, and we start off reading. It's like a 3-page, document. And part of what we read in there is it talks about anytime when you start off your day, if you're focused on thinking of the past, and we automatically do that. We normally don't realize it, but we do. We automatically start thinking through the past. The moment you begin thinking through the past, right, you start thinking through all the problems, what didn't go well yesterday, or what you got to work on today, or what you got to do because this didn't work out. One of the statements in this document we read just talks about how you remain stuck in the past. You remain stuck, and that has control over you if you continue to think of the past. And we don't even realize how much time we actually spend thinking of the past. There's this one author out there, he said in a statement a while ago, he said we spend about 90 to 95% of our time in past thinking and only about 5% of our time in forward thinking. I thought that was really interesting that we spend so much time thinking through the past. So isn't it interesting that we're taught in Romans 12:2 that we have to be transformed by the renewing of our mind? And then when you look in this passage in Isaiah 43, why is it important that we forget the former things, do not dwell on the past? How does that tie into enjoyment of life? And the only thing I can think of as I think about that is whenever I'm focused on the past, it prevents me from visualizing and seeing what's possible for my future. It's as if I filter my future through my current circumstances, and then it limits me. So for example, if you know you want to get out there and start a business or launch a book or whatever it is you want to do, if you look at in the past it didn't work, right? Or my past whatever adventures I didn't work out, or my current circumstances, my finances don't support me being able to do a full whatever book tour or whatever, then you're going to be limited with what you can really even visualize in terms of what's possible in your life. Does that make sense? So I understand why when we read the Bible and it teaches us forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. I understand why it says in verse 19, see, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? It's as if God is saying, wait. Do you not see what I'm doing in your life right now? Because sometimes my vision gets foggy. You're right. And maybe it's just me, but sometimes my vision gets foggy when I'm focused on the past, what didn't work out, or even if it was just yesterday, right? And so I love this passage. He said, see, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? And I'm making a new way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Could it be possible that God is making a new way for you right now? A new way in this desert, whatever seems like you're in dry territory, you're going through a difficult time right now. Could it be possible He's carving out and making a new way, but it's hard for us to visualize it and to see it because I did an episode a long time ago. I think it was called No More Rear View Driving or something like that. You can look it up and find it. But it was about driving, but you're driving through your rear view mirror, right? So instead of driving and looking forward, you'll be able to find it. It's something called about No More Rear View Driving or something. But I had a mirror up on there, and I was on the thumbnail, and what I was showing is that, yeah, you may look like you're going forward, right? But you're actually only driving by looking through the rear view mirror. You're not even seeing the big window. Right? You're looking through the rear view mirror, literally in the car, because you're making steps in terms of how I'm going to move forth based on what happened yesterday or the day before or the results or the circumstances that's already occurred. And that's how we're making the decision what's possible with how we're moving forth. So we end up driving forth really with fear, right? Not even going at the speed we should be going, right? Probably missing some important turns in life. So I'm not going off subject. I'm still on subject. This entire subject, this is part 2 about enjoyment of life. And in this part, I want you to focus on what part of my past, what is it from my current circumstances and things do I need to just let go of so that I can move forth? I've got to be able to adjust my mindset and be transformed and renewed in my thinking about what's even possible. There's a passage, I just want to turn to it really, really, really quickly. And I pray this is encouraging you guys. You guys know I speak from my heart. I speak through things that I go through. I tell you guys all the time. I don't know if you believe me, but it's either I'm going through it now or it's something that I've been through in the past, and God has reminded me, oh yeah, talk to them about this, or talk to them about when you overcame this or that. So everything that I talk about is because I was stuck in this mode at some point. But Hebrews chapter 12, I love this one. Hebrews chapter 12. The title that is God Disciplines His Sons. Hebrews chapter 12, starting in verse 1, says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. I love this. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him, we'll talk about that in a second, endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. My goodness. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. I really, really, really love this passage. I love it a lot. I love it a lot because it's teaching us to keep our gaze straight ahead. It's teaching us to throw off every single thing that hinders us. The past, and I speak from experience, you all, the past can greatly hinder you. The more you look back, and in fact, what is his name? I'm trying to think, is it Napoleon Hill, who said, you become what you think about all day long. All day long. You become what you think about all day long. So as long as you're continuing to rehearse all of those tapes from the past, and you're continuing to look back at what didn't work out, you continue to set your sights on your circumstances. And it didn't change today. It didn't change yesterday. The longer you continue to look at the past, all you are doing is recreating the same future. That's part of some of that reading that I do with my staff in the morning, because that's a statement in there that says as long as you continue to look at the past, you're just recreating that same future over and over and over again. So I have to make a decision. And we read this statement every day, this long document that we go through every day, because literally you can feel like today, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. But then 2 hours later, that's exactly what you're doing. So you have to constantly be reminded, oh, that's right. I am to enjoy life. I am to have enjoyment of life. Jesus came that I would have life and have it to the full. I cannot continue to create the same future by looking back at my past. I understand I make mistakes. And I tell God that all the time. I say, God, on my best day, you know I'm a mess and I make mistakes. But I said, but you know I love you. And thank goodness your mercies are new every morning, right? Right? So you may have messed up big time yesterday or last week or last year. Yeah, you probably could have made some better decisions that could have gotten you in a different situation in life right now. That's okay. But we don't get to go back and change the past, but we get to move forward. So you have to ask yourself, and here's my question for you before I close out. Do you want to keep recreating the same future as what you had in the past? Is that what you want to do? And if your answer to that is no, then my challenge for you, baby, stop looking back at the past. Ask God to give you wisdom, to give you guidance, to strengthen you, and to help you move forward for enjoyment of life. Loving Him, serving Him, helping others, using your gifts and talents in whatever way God tells you to do. But make a decision today. I'm going to have enjoyment of life. I'm no longer going to be looking back at the past. I'm going to have to let go and move on. I love you all. You're listening to Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. I pray you've been encouraged.